What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Your host, the Saint, here in the house. Listen, I got you covered for the opening of this show. We're gonna have some people come on. My co-host David is running a little bit late, as to be expected when you're a busy man, because you're a businessman. You ain't gonna be on time to everything. There's no way. Not when you got this much business to conduct. Now, we had a hell of a show last night with Joe Kazana from NWA Southeast, Joe Kazana Promotions. That was a fun show. We're going to have another fun show here tonight talking about XWW's Winter Bash 2023. If you don't know, that is this Sunday in Monroe. Tickets $10. Doors at 4:30. It's a nice time for a show, 4:30 in the evening. You know, you still get home at a decent time. The kids can get to bed for school the next day. You can get to bed for work the next day. It's right there in Monroe, North Carolina, just a little out of the way of Charlotte, and you can be there. Also, you can catch it online. That's extremetvonline.com or the XWW Roku channel, Extreme World Wrestling. Search it on Roku, download the app. You can get it right there. I think it's like first couple days are free. It's like $5 a month after that. It's a deal for the amount of content that comes out of the XWW brand. I am really excited for this show. Pretty sure I actually debuted at last year's XWW Winter Bash. I'm not 100% sure. I think I got a guest in the background. I'm gonna check and make sure they are ready to come on. You good to go? Thumbs up. There we go. The owner of XWW, Mr. Manny Mac. How are you doing?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah, I can hear you great, man. How are you?
Perfect. Good, man. Good. Sorry, I was trying to get the little man down. Luckily, he just went down, so it was perfect timing.
Bro, I get it. I completely get it because like I just got done, gathering the switch from my son, so it's his bedtime. Little girls get ready to hit the shower before she goes. Uh Look at this. David Estacado chiming in from the road, Manny
Hey,
Mac. He said, "What's up?" Brino Royce chiming in saying, "Gentlemen, what's up, Brino?"
what's going on?
Saw the video of him last night in the Spartanburg parade. He's going down the road in a Hummer, like a HV Hummer. He's sitting on top of it. There's pyro going off behind him in the parade. It was ridiculous.
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw a photo on his page that I was like, I guess I forgot. It's definitely that time of year with the holidays and everything.
I was driving through Pine Street, like, what in the hell is wrong with traffic tonight? And then I realized there's cops at every intersection and people are just standing up against the sidewalk.
Just was the Christmas parade. That's what it was, right?
Yeah, but it was Pine Street. It's a 4-lane freaking road, bro.
Oh God.
Yeah, like it literally added 20 minutes to my commute getting through that mess last night.
You know, it's funny. I never tapped into those. We need to look into that. I know next year we had talked about trying to do the Monroe parade because we always end up missing it. And it's like that's a great network opportunity. So that's actually pretty dope that Brino's out there doing his thing.
Oh yeah, he was out there. He had his heavyweight title from AWL on his shoulder. I think the truck behind it was Jimmy with the pyro in the
Oh,
back.
that's nice.
I'm pretty sure that's how it was done. But anyway, man, I have sent messages. I tagged everybody in the world. All the talent knows that I'm doing a preview show. So I'm going to lay out some predictions.
Man, you
for this
know,
preview show.
reliability is the hardest thing when you gotta tell people to be somewhere at a certain time, especially in the wrestling world.
Yeah, provide, and I'm bringing extra people with me
Yeah,
this weekend. So that'll be an interesting change up right there.
absolutely, definitely exciting. I mean, this is a big show for us, mentally, physically, everything, because it's our big hoorah to end the year. So I know we're all pretty excited for sure.
Right. Didn't I debut at last year's Winter Bash?
Mm, did you?
I think.
That's pretty wild. Huh. I have to go back and look at the footage. You might have.
I think that was my first one with you guys. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was.
You definitely know more than I would.
Not probably not. Last year, I don't remember shit.
Oof, yeah, we did a lot of shows last year too, so
Yes.
that's a tough one to think to remember. I'll have to go back and look. I'm sure the footage would tell.
After you do this show, how many shows did you end up hitting this year?
I got to do the number, especially that because our X Awards is the next night, and that's kind of like our big hoorah when we go over a lot of the stats. Which reminds me, I need to get your stats as well of how many you guys think you've done this year. As far as podcasts, yeah. As far as
Jesus.
I know I would actually need you to figure out a number. I know that's crazy to think about, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd have to really sit down and crunch it, but it's a pretty big number because there was a few months where we had 4 or 5 shows going, so it was pretty wild year for sure. I definitely would say we did more this year than last year, which is crazy because we did a lot last year.
Right.
I know
Dude,
next year we've got a lot planned already, so I think it's just honestly it's just going to get crazier because I know we're bringing back our studio tapings and stuff like that, so there's going to be just a lot more content to hit the scene than we had in the last year or so.
that was a conversation or part of a conversation we've had with a couple of people was putting out that much content
Mm,
because there is a lot of content out there and you got to be able to get viewership and you got to be able to produce enough content to keep them on the line.
right, that's the big thing for us with our Roku network because people are signing up for a monthly cost, so we have to constantly keep content on there just to give people a reason to stay signed up. And a good thing advantage for us is we've had like 2 or 3 people subscribe every week in the last few months, so like the numbers have definitely grown slowly enough that there's a consistency there. And for us too, that's where all of our main shows are for people to watch. So it kind of gives people a reason to sign up. But yeah, that's a tough battle, especially when you're kind of more in the content chase than you are just kind of like show to show. Because we try to do a lot more than just the shows with our content. So yeah, it can get pretty overwhelming. But I've definitely seen the growth since COVID. So super excited. And I think definitely this year it's transferred into fans as well because we've definitely had a few shows that had some really great turnouts and positive feedback. And last October was our last show at the Monroe Armory, and that was one of our best turnouts we've had in a while. So I'm pretty excited to see how this one goes to kind of end the year and kind of put a big bang on our XWW closeout.
Right. Man, I think some of the largest crowds, one was especially that one we did in Matthews. That show in Matthews hit.
Yeah, I think Matthews and Waxhaw ended up being like almost a home to us now for how big the crowds were. And then I wouldn't even say that, just how loyal the crowds were. Because, a bunch of people sitting in the pouring rain. And, we're trying to think about, okay, should we cancel for the 2 shows? We had really bad weather and people stuck it out and still wanted to see the show. So, we know that that's become a strong area for us. And then obviously Charlotte's, always going to be our home with what we do at Lenny Boy and a lot of places around there just because I think that's it's always been a thing for us over the years to continually run Charlotte.
Yeah, Lenny Boy is always a good time. Monday night was fun. Monday night brewing was fun. Waxhaw, dude, the taco truck was great.
Hmm.
Like no doubt about that. That was my first ever Cuban sandwich, and man, that thing was good. It set me on a bad path. Set me on a bad path.
Yeah, but we have a couple new spots in Matthews we got coming up next year, and then Cosplay Wrestling Universe who collabs with us. They have a pretty decent little schedule next year as well. So it's gonna be cool to kind of mix it up and do a bunch of different stuff. And like I said, I'm super excited to even bring back the studio tapings because that gives us a lot of new content and a lot of ways for you to check out a lot of upcoming guys in the Carolinas that you might not be able to see just on the bigger shows each month.
Right. One thing I enjoy and a major feedback I heard on the cosplay wrestling universe was it gave more people more room to show a different side of themselves and their creativity, like
Absolutely.
how far they could go.
And I think for just us, like for the boys backstage and everything, it was just like a fun show to put on, and it was like less pressure, than the normal shows are. Because at that one, we're just having fun, man. We're just kind of being ourselves and let our characters play out. And we hoped for a good turnout, and we had a good turnout, and we killed it with T-shirt sales and things like that. So there was a lot that really came from that first show that I think is going to spawn a lot next year, and I'm excited because that's a fun little avenue to be in, and let's just mix it up for sure.
Right. Most definitely. Going to catch up on some comments real quick. Let's see. David actually did have a business meeting. That's why he was late
Oh,
tonight. He was saying truth to trying to get everybody to show up somewhere. And he said, hell, they might even show up down in Monroe.
hey, always
He,
welcome backstage. Always a good time.
he asked if you needed a manager or a commentator.
I think we're good on commentary. We can try to fit. We always can find a place for somebody for sure. Hey, what up,
Uriah,
people?
Uriah chimed in. He said, boss. And then Lorenzo asked if you needed a llama. Lorenzo, the Lucha Llama, wanted to know if you needed him there.
Not at this show. We're always looking for a llama.
Dude, when we went to Tennessee, the craziest thing was the llama was more over than pretty much anybody else there.
That's
We're
funny.
talking about we're talking about like David Schultz in the house, Tom Pritchard, Joe Gazana. Like
That's
it was
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm
It
excited
was
to see how big the vibe is for the cosplay match we have at Winter Bash because that's our first time kind of taking a match from that particular show and crossing it onto ours. So I'm pretty excited
right.
to see how that one turns out for sure.
Well, speaking of, I've got that picture in here. I don't know if I had. I know I downloaded every picture and I
Should be
moved them
7.
all over here. Yeah, I had 7.
I know we spread them out, because we didn't drop them all at once.
Right. I gotta go. I just gotta snag a couple of more pictures, and that way I know I have them all. Um, but yeah, here it is.
There you go.
You got Michael Jackson Thriller versus The Grinch.
Yep.
Look, Michael Jackson Thriller put on a hell of a show, but this might be the case where The Grinch steals that title for Christmas.
Hey, you never know. I'm excited to see this one. Michael Jackson Thurber definitely put on a heck of a show and an entertaining show at the debut cosplay show. So for him to come the first ever heavyweight champion, we'll see if he can stand through Christmas and beat the Grinch. I know the fans are definitely in for a treat with that one. I think for sure, if I had to put it in a category, that'll be probably the most fun match of the night and definitely the more entertaining one for sure. I'm definitely excited for that cross into the multiverse of cosplay wrestling universe at XWW WinterBash.
Right. The hardcore title is on the line. Metal Shark challenging AJ Myers.
Well, Commissioner Quest was this March or not March? Our Matthew show put the 24-hour rule on our hardcore title, and strictly that was because Latin Force, who is Metal Shark's managers, always seem to get involved, and so it kind of just put a predicament on the title that I believe Quest, for a way to kind of make it not only more crazy but more fun, was put the 24-hour rule on it. So that title has changed hands quite a bit in the last few months. I myself have been hardcore champion. I know referee Brad was hardcore champion for a few seconds there. So that title has changed hands quite a bit, and it's changed hands quite a bit between these two. I know at the last show at Monday Night Brewing, uh, AJ Myers ended up slamming Metal Shark onto some thumbtacks in the middle of the ring and was able to capture the 3 to win the hardcore title. So this match going into it, 24-hour rule is on the line. So if AJ is able to capture the win, I guess the better question is, can he hold on to it? Being that Latin Force has the numbers.
And get out of there fast enough.
Right, right. You saw me. I tried to escape when I pinned Brad for the belt, but then El Luchador got me with the chloroform, so put my ass out. So you got to watch your back with that
Right.
hardcore title for sure. And it's been exciting. It's been exciting this year just to see the chaos from the hardcore title and some of the fun stuff that has happened with it. And that's always been one of the main belts for XWW, just because our name's Extreme. So hardcore title's always been a fun thing and a big thing for us. So I definitely think that'll be a great match on the card. I can definitely say that it's going to be a lot of chaos. That's for sure. That's for sure. A lot of weapons, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. Now, this match right here is one that I am extremely looking forward to. The
Yes, sir.
XWW TV title, Luke Fury defending against Saeed Al Sabah.
So Saeed's been on a crazy rise in XWW within the last year, and more than anything, making it known that he's a regular member of the XWW roster, and that's kind of let us know how important he is not only for XWW but for each show that he's on, because the man brings a 5-star match every single time he's in the ring, and he's an incredible athlete. And to have somebody up and coming like Luke Fury, who's definitely made a name himself pretty fast in XWW, and captured a belt in a short amount of time as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Luke Fury can step up to that level of Saeed, or if Saeed's ring experience from over the years will definitely take the toll and for him to capture that TV title. It's a big match, a big we've seen a huge feud in the last year with Saeed and Little Panda, and Little Panda beating Saeed at the last Waxhaw show, I think kind of put a spark under Saeed. So I think Saeed's got a little extra fuel in the tank, and I think he's definitely ready for this matchup. So Luke definitely better bring his A game. So I'm pretty excited to see how these two both step up head to head in the ring.
Well, experience wise, the edge has to go to Saeed Al Sabah.
Definitely.
It does. Luke Fury has that moment where the stars align for him and he pulls it out. I don't want to bet against either one of these guys is the problem with this match. This is something that as a wrestling fan, this is the type of match you want to enjoy. In my opinion, you know how they say the first match and the last match are the two that, really set the crowd on edge, because you got your first one to make everybody else work their ass off, keep up with it. If this was an opening match, I would hate to be the ones behind it.
Right. And honestly, that's what's crazy about Winter Bash for us is, it's a lot of feuds ending, a lot of big things for us as far as matches that have accumulated to these moments to be at Winter Bash. And, I think that a lot of the guys, they really give their all on the show. And a big thing of it is it's a big part of the X Awards. As, last year, Winter Bash, that voting cusp ends. So technically last year's Winter Bash falls on this year's X Awards. So one of the match of the year category this year was Fulton versus Bosworth that happened at last year Winter Bash. And I'm sure you remember how crazy that match was, balls to the wall, where they actually moved the drinking machine out of the main room of the armory because of what Fulton and Bosworth did in that match.
Weren't you involved in a couple matches too? I think you might deserve a reward for most interference in a match there, Mr.
Ooh.
Money Mac. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I haven't checked the categories. I don't think I'm up for too much. I think Quest and the ownership are a little biased when it comes to me, as I'm not even booked on this Sunday's card. I just hear about it.
The disrespect, sir.
From
let me
emails
guess, you heard it?
and things like that. So I have to go to the Facebook page to see what's going on. But you know what? I got a bone to pick with Quest, aka Kenneth Howe. So I will be in the house Sunday, and let's just say that I got a shoot that I plan on bringing down on Quest. So I hope he's ready for the mouthful that I've got for him. So it's gonna be, let's just say it's gonna be electric on Sunday, and I got a big shocker for everybody for our February show at Lenny Boy. I can't reveal it now. You're gonna have to be at the show. But what I will say is the match that is going to happen in February has never happened in XWW history. So it's big.
Okay, I'm excited for that. So permission to invite myself to that one, because I think I might be free that week.
Absolutely. January and February are big months. January, we got Bobby Valentine obviously going up in Sephiroth, and that's a huge feud within the last year where they will finally get to. We'll see, what happens with that one. But their contract signing will actually be at Winter Bash this Sunday. So we'll be able to see basically, how that match will finally get signed, and we'll finally get the answer to those questions for that feud that has been going on. I mean, you guys have seen it. It's been crazy. They tried to hit Bobby with a car. They've gone all over the place between Bobby and Sephiroth. So I think for that feud to finally get the match that it deserves, pretty excited for January. And it's going to be crazy to see how that contract signing goes at Winter Bash.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be easy. It's been culminating to this crazy back and forth between them, and this is it. It's the end of the year, and it's gonna go out in a bang.
Quite literally. I'm excited about this show is that it has a lot of foreshadowing into what you'll see into 2024 and then you'll see a lot of stuff ending from 2023. So this is a big show for XWW. And then, obviously to follow it the next night with the X Awards. So we always take these 2 days as pretty serious within the company and also at a time to blow off steam and have fun. A lot of the guys, this is our triumph of busting our ass all year and doing so many shows and producing so much content and kind of finally coming to this big moment, almost like a big Christmas present for all of us, I feel like.
It sounds like it's like a end of the year kind of party bash kind of deal, right?
Absolutely.
That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting from it.
I took off 2 days from work, so I'm good for Sunday and Monday.
But I will say the X Awards can definitely go pretty late, so that's usually a good idea. I always end up having to work the next day, and it's like the biggest drag ever for me. So it's like so crazy how much fun we have, and it's cool to see all the footage and things that have accumulated from the last year. And not to mention that the bingo that we do during the show, that we give out TV, air fryer, iPods, all kinds of stuff is given out at our X Awards. So it's a huge party, man. And I think it's gotten bigger each year. And, if you had to put an example next to it, it's just like the WWF Slammy Awards, where, they're recognizing talent and feuds and things like that of the year and everybody partying at the same time. We always film it. So you'll be able to see it on Roku, ExtremeTVOnline.com, and all that good stuff.
You could broadcast it live, but that might run into some problems.
We did it the first year, and honestly, it was chaotic because, we're still trying to have a good time, too. So, we don't want to have too much pressure of, having to make sure the live edit's good and the cameras are, it's just more of a situation where we realize, all right, we'll just edit it within a few days. And I think what we always end up doing is, because it always falls the week before Christmas, we kind of drop it the day or around Christmas, so that's kind of like our Christmas present to the fans kind of thing.
That's pretty dope.
Cool. Jake Roberts chimed in. He said, "Hey Ron, hey boss." Somebody posted a Facebook link. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to click it to find out. Yeah, somebody dropping a random Facebook link.
I know who that is. That's a Facebook modder who every time I share a show, every time I show a poster, they're always sharing our stuff. So shout out to them. They're probably just showing their page that we're probably live on their page because they're always sharing our stuff.
All inclusive indie wrestling. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just making sure because see, I've had other podcasters drop their show link live while I'm live. Like, bro, are you on drugs? Ask first.
Yeah, well, you can
get told no.
Like Manny asked, and he's also technically our boss, but no, not our boss. What's the word? Colleague. There we go. Thank you.
Colleague, yeah.
And he reached out, and we love talking to XWW. Plus,
yeah. We love you guys because not only you guys show us love, but you show the indies love, and you show everybody love. So that's what's most important. We need more podcasts like that out there. It just gets the word out there, and then even if people don't watch it live, they could always tune in later, which is a great thing. Because
exactly
right.
Not everybody's on the same schedule as everybody else, but I think that's the best part about it. The consistency that you guys do is, I think, the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, and I'll always go back to we get over getting you guys talent promoters over. That's kind of the goal, to put the eyes on the people who deserve it, who are putting in the work, who are putting, everything they can into this. And it shows. It shows with the quality of the product. You have a crazy product, crazy talent, and they need eyes on them.
It's progressed. I think if you look at a lot from the last 3-4 years, it's definitely taken leaps and bounds. And, I think the more that we get a lot of the internal stuff figured out, the easier the other stuff becomes, because, as much as you don't think about it, it takes a lot of moving parts for a promotion to run and to run successfully. You can have a lot of different people trying to say they're going to do things, but if it doesn't really come together on that same one mindset, it ends up being chaos. And I think that's a big thing with the indies is there's a lot of great promotions out there, but they're kind of just moving. They're not moving ahead. And, I think that's
there's too many. I think there's just too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
And they're not cooperating when they could be cooperating and working together to push the product forward.
And there's a lot of he say, she say. And I think that's what ends up, kind of hurting a lot of, companies with somebody that you don't even know might have said something, but they didn't even say it because it came from somebody else. And there's just too much of that going on that it creates a lot of animosity where it doesn't need to be.
Correct.
And I think that's the biggest thing I think I've noticed from it all. Because for the most part, everybody supports each other online. But I think when you get face to face, it's a little bit of a different story.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say no. And here's what I'm going to say about this. If I support you, I support you. If you support me, that's mutual respect. But if you go to use me or my associate, or you disrespect either one of us, I got no love for you. It's respect. It's not about the end game. It's about the right now. If you can't show respect and gratitude out of the gate, you don't need to be bothering me.
It's pretty easy to see who's respectful from the jump, for especially in this little bubble, and then you can kind of see how people talk and what the vibe of certain places are. I think that's more than anything. Like, you got to fit in where you fit in. Not every promotion is going to be your cup of tea,
Right.
and you see that. There's so many different places to run and so many places running.
Yeah.
You see us. We're there's a lot of people that run near us, but I think everybody has their own different vibe for sure.
Oh yeah, there's not a show that's the same
Yeah, right.
in your market. I count 3 that I know of in the Charlotte market that I know of, and that's XWW, ASE, and what, Title Belt Pro.
Yeah, I guess you could say NAWA because they run Resident Culture in Charlotte, but that's like one time. But yeah, I mean, they still run Charlotte.
Okay, well yeah, I don't think about them as running it because they run more
Right, yeah,
mountain.
like mountain area. Yeah. But yeah, they run I don't know if it's once a month or whatever, but yeah, they tap into Charlotte a little bit too. So I mean, that's what I mean. There's a lot within the area, but it's everyone's different. Everyone does their own thing, and I mean, you see it with our show Sunday. I mean, there's definitely familiar faces, but I think for the most part, you can kind of start to see who like the XWW regulars are, and what we're trying to build around. And that's been the biggest thing for me all year. Was there's so much great talent in the Carolinas, but what talent can I use to make us look different than the rest, rather than look like everybody else?
You guys tried to separate yourself from most of the pack, and that's one thing. It's fresh, new talent.
It's also the ability for different matchups than you already have, because a lot of the feds use predominantly the same talent over and over and over again, whereas you have a revolving door of talent.
We try to, and I think that's the big thing with how we bring Facade and Daddy Mo down consistently, and even Fulton. I think having them kind of in the mix because they're in totally different states, it does add a little bit of versatility to us. Of I can't see them everywhere else, and that's always been a big thing for me. And I always try to make our product different in that aspect. That hey, there's a show 30 minutes down the road from us. What's different than ours than theirs? And that's all. That's probably been my biggest mindset of anything with XWW is I just don't want you to ever think our show is like everybody else.
There's a couple comments. There's a talent here that you need to keep their eye on. She's known as the Great Sasaki. Tough talent, amazing talent, aggressive talent, female talent of that, and she knows what she's doing.
Nice. You have to send me some links.
Yep,
I got you. I got you.
Well, there you go. Luke Fury chimed in. What's up, Luke? He said he's ready for Sunday. Dude, all right, David, you got to catch up on your predictions. So
yeah.
So let's get here. I'm taking the Grinch on this one.
I saw that, but I don't know. Michael Jackson Thriller Michael Jackson. He's undead. Part Werewolf too. If you remember the music video. So my money is on Michael.
All right. AJ Myers Metal Shark. This one's tough because of the 24/7 rule.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. My prediction is gonna be somebody else. Hell, it might be Lorenzo.
Yeah. Dude, the llama winning the hardcore title would be ridiculous.
It's very possible in XWW.
Anything can happen in XWW. Luke Fury, Saeed Al Sabah.
This is hard because Al Sabah has been on, like you guys said earlier, on a tear lately, just showing that he is the talent, and what's the word? How I'm going to say this? He always exceeds expectations. He is a wild card on this one. I'm thinking we're going to see a new champ.
I see a huge future with Saeed and XWW going into next year. So I think this match is a good test of time for both of these men for sure.
It's a litmus test of what's going to happen next year, guaranteed. That's why I feel like Al-Sabah will walk away with the gold.
I'm going to counter you on that one and say that Luke Fury wins this, but he doesn't win it like you would think. Like he doesn't bludgeon him to the point of he can't get up. I'm talking about Luke Fury uses that speed, uses that agility. I see something like a classic roll up. Just that's what I see.
The most devastating move in wrestling history, folks.
It's just like something you wouldn't anticipate catches Saeed out of context, and because you're looking at Fury, you're thinking you got a flyer, and he's gonna roll you up, dude. His dad's been teaching him how to do this for his whole life.
True, he does have that. He's under his dad's tutelage, but the experience that Al-Sabah has been having, and every time he has a match, you always see something moving forward from the previous match. Him using it in the new match, in his next matchup,
right?
And with that being said, I feel like with all the opponents he's had up to this point, he's going to come up on this one. Yeah,
okay.
I just see it.
Saeed Al-Sabah does not have good luck against smaller opponents because Little Panda has got the best of Saeed Al-Sabah multiple times. So I just want to, add that little nugget of information there.
It's definitely Saeed's hungry for gold. I will say that. So
right.
Luke's he's got a big target on his back, and I think more than anybody, most of the rosters got their eyes on that belt. So Luke's definitely got to fight for his life, and then even more so, the achievement of winning that belt in such a short amount of time is a huge thing for Luke. So I think, honestly, this is just a test for Luke to see if he can bring it into next year and climb the ranks and become even a bigger superstar in XWW than he already has become in a short amount of time. The sky's the limit for him for sure. And one thing I will say with XWW is we see when guys have potential, and we will put their ass to work to see if that actually comes to fruition.
I've seen it. I have seen it. Next up, number one contender spot for the U.S. title. You've got Treehouse Lee versus Vasad.
And this is a sad one because just literally within the last few days, this one just got canceled. As the worst things in life you could say, card subject to change.
Card subject to change, yeah.
I believe Treehouse Lee had an injury that he's not all the way back from the last time we spoke to one of our bookers, Johnny Smalls, who spoke with Treehouse, was not able to get the clearance he needed to wrestle. So we will be back for this match in the future. Fasad is still going to be at Winter Bash, and all I know is that Quest has been searching high and low for an opponent for Fasad, and I believe he has found somebody. So it's going to be interesting to see who slides into that match and gets that number one contender shot for the U.S. title. And it's going to be exciting to see what match comes from that. I know Quest always has a trick up his sleeve, being the commissioner. So I think either way, fans are definitely going to be in for a good match.
If Fasad's in the ring, you're not going to have a bad time.
Right.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
He's the Neon Ninja for a reason. And dude, and I go back with what you said. Quest always has some kind of game plan, some kind of plan B, plan C when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm excited to see what he's going to pull out.
And Fasad's the first ever double champion in XWW. So, I think next year I see Fasad doing a lot bigger things in the company. And, I don't, you could very well see him in a heavyweight title match down the line, I think, because the man's proven he's got the work ethic. And if you could follow him on social media, he's at a show almost every few days. So,
yes,
the man's exposure and grind is through the roof. So there's no better representation of a brand or a company than him because of the amount of work and grind that he puts into it. So I can say honestly that you'll see Fasad in a lot bigger places in XWW going forward. So this is a great opportunity for him. As you know, Sephiroth is the United States champion. He will face Bobby in January at Lenny Boy at Deadly Resolution. So the winner of this Facade match will get a shot at whoever wins that match in February. So as you know, it continues on.
The stakes keep getting higher and higher. That's awesome.
Right.
I like it.
So
Wow.
yeah, either way, if it's Facade or whoever he faces, they're up for a tough challenge in Bobby Valentine or Sephiroth. After we find out that match in January. So, and it's awesome to see, what we might already see going in the next year. And that's kind of the big point of Winter Bash as well, is to give you a little bit of what might be in 2024.
That's amazing. And I agree with the fact that, he's a workhorse. The guy is constantly working, working on his craft, and each opponent seems to add just to his repertoire. Whoever wins that matchup, they're in for a hell of a fight. That's going to be an amazing matchup at Deadly Resolution.
One thing I could say about Facade is that, like, he really puts you, when you wrestle him, he makes you step up to another level. And a great example of that was just the match he had with Christopher Prince. Christopher Prince isn't much of a hardcore guy, but they battled it out and they fought all over the arena. And Christopher Prince, he stepped up, another notch on his belt as far as within wrestling. And to be able to adapt and wrestle someone like Facade isn't easy, because Facade is a very fast guy in the ring. So, you almost have to push yourself a little harder knowing of that kind of match you're going into. So seeing Prince and a lot of these guys try to step up and try to be right there and level with Facade just shows you the talent that man is and how talented he is of making other people look as well.
100% agree. So I'm looking forward to seeing who Quest finds for Facade.
All I can say is that there's been a lot of chatter in Union, South Carolina, and I can say that there might be some collaborations coming of what you might see of how Facade ended up getting an opponent this Sunday. I do know that there has been some conversations between Quest and another promoter, and XWW, we haven't worked with too many companies in the past, so this is pretty cool to have an opportunity to work with somebody different.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
You just
I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away too much.
No, you don't want to give away too much. You're there grinning like a Cheshire cat. I'm sitting here grinning like a Cheshire cat. David's probably sitting over there like, these two assholes know something.
No, it just sounds like somebody's returning after a certain retirement.
I can't make any promises. All I know is that there's greener pastures out there, and we're always looking to work with people that have the mindset of bettering the industry. And, that's a big thing for us, because we just try to make the brand bigger. I think that's where people look at us a lot differently too, is, we're not, a lot of us aren't trying to make it to WWE. We're not trying to make it to TNA. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to make the company grow to a level where we can all live off this and really make this something that's a positive thing for all of us. So I think that's the difference with a lot of us. A lot of people, they go into it trying to make themselves in a better place and expand their horizons, whereas a lot of the people involved with us see the company as that, and that's kind of what we all push it as. And I think that as we've grown through the year, that it's become more of that backstage, and it's definitely gone within the product. And I think this Sunday you'll see kind of an accumulation of all of that, and I'm very excited for each match. I think each match has the potential to steal the show for sure.
And that's what it's going to go back to, is like every match I've seen so far from the product has the potential, or is the potential technically to be a main eventer. You guys always have that, and you can always see, and you can see that camaraderie, but also that friendly competition, the strive, the passion that everyone in the mentality is, especially with you guys, is that let's make it so that we're all eating. If I'm eating, you're eating. Let's make it even more so we can eat even more, and together. That's
I tell guys all the time, like, I spend thousands of dollars on social media ads every month, like sending us promos and things like that. All we're doing is helping getting your brand more exposure. And that's been one of my biggest things with XWW is I might, even if the company doesn't make it, I can get more eyes on you. That's the whole vibe that I've always tried to create is opportunity, and what we see in opportunity is guys that we feel like are not being treated right and not being used right, or have potential to really be seen in a bigger limelight. And I think that's kind of what my goal has always been. And if the company gets the exposure from that, that's great. We can never ask for much more, but we really try to focus on pushing the talent. And I think you see that You know, you definitely see that throughout social media with XWW.
Yeah, they level up, you guys level up. The company levels up, that brings them up to another higher level. You guys just it's a beautiful balancing act of just level up,
It's a
level up,
ladder.
level up. Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
how it's got to be. You know, every year you got to think of like how can we progress from the year before, and that's always been a big thing for us. You know, through the internet's even a big thing. You know, because it's hard to market through the internet nowadays. There's so many different platforms, and you know, a lot of things that you really have to do to get yourself out there to try to make a living off of this. And you know, I think for me, it's been more of building that tight knit a group of guys that knows that everyone knows their place and everybody knows what they're supposed to bring to the table. And you know, all I can do is just bring the table, and then everybody else brings their part, and it all comes together. And I think this Sunday you'll see that for sure in what we've done all year long, and then obviously leading into the X Awards, and just appreciating how much work a lot of these guys put in, you know, to make XWW happen, and to put on a better show, you know, because like you said, there's so many shows running, so it's like, you know, how can you try to make your show just that much better than the next? I mean, there's 3 shows I think running on the same day as us.
Really?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
One Sunday.
UPW in Raleigh is running Sunday, and Underground in Asheville is running.
Okay. Yeah, they're all right. That's a hike.
Not within our area, but if you look at a lot of the talent on the card, it's some of the same guys that, you know, you'll see on shows, but even bigger names, you know, like Raleigh. I know they have Heath and Rhino and a couple of big guys going on their show. So, you know, there's a lot going on Sunday for sure. So it's it has to almost make you mindset of like, all right, I got to really kind of continuously stepping up, because there's a lot of people out here running solid shows and putting out great content. So it kind of forces you to work harder and think more, creatively. And I think that's what we've been trying to do the most this year, Ron, is be different. And, you know, I think you'll see that this Sunday, in hopes that what we've built all year long, you're able to kind of see, okay, man, this is the XWW. This is kind of what they've strived to build up as a group and a team.
Right. Dude, I've seen it over the last year that I've been there. It's been awesome to see how much it's grown and how much changed. And, you know, XWW is a vibe. It's not even close to anything else. I've worked 12, 15 promotions now in the last 2-3 years. And you want this style, this is this style. You want this style, this is this style. You want this is it.
Yeah, it's different flavors.
Then there's just there's certain shows that have certain pieces of the puzzle that are just out there. Off the wall production over here, you're just classic meat and potatoes of everything you could want here. This insane camaraderie and just unrelenting heart and drive over here. It's wild. I get to experience everything you could imagine going to each of these different shows.
And, you know, I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything. You know, we've had shows where attendance wasn't there, and, you know, like we picked ourselves up and said, okay, well, how can we make this better? And you know, a lot of it for us has been with our Roku network. You know, like our over 300 monthly subscribers has pushed us to say, okay, well, if the crowd's not there, make sure that it's produced right so that the fans that we have online can see a better product, you know. And I think going into that mentality has pushed it into a bigger place for us, because there is a bigger scene than what you draw at a show. And when you start realizing that, you know, the internet is worldwide. You know, you could have fans in other countries tuning in. So, you know, the more you realize the bigger picture, I think the more you just focus on the product. And I think the more you focus on that, if it gets to a certain level, the fans will come. And we've seen that in Waxhaw, in places that we don't typically normally run and promote at, that the more consistent that we've done it, the fans have followed, and the fans have started to follow the stories. You know, the fans know who's who. They know who to boo. They know who to cheer. And that's all we could ask for as a company, is to give somebody something that they get so in tuned on that they know who their favorites are, and they know who they hate. They know who they hate. So, you know, as a wrestling promoter, as a fan, as a wrestler myself, you know, that's all we could ask for, is to take that small piece to let people have that one time where they come to a show or watch our show online and get to escape from reality.
True. You give them the taste, and that's how it works. You give them a taste of what it is, and once they like it, they're gonna keep coming back. And that's what you guys have done. You guys have set yourself apart. You have this fan base because they know what they like, and they keep coming back for more. And the fact that you're one of the promoters that gets the social media, that gets that reach, and understands that content is content, regardless of what it is. You're pushing out your product. You're pushing out that brand.
Right.
It's fantastic and refreshing to see.
You got to realize you are a brand. Everyone's their own brand. So the more you can focus and market that, the bigger the company will get. And everybody has to realize that because, I think that's where a lot of people get lost in the fact that, you are an independent contractor. So at the end of the day, like I'm hiring you because of who you are. So I want to bring you into my show to make my show that much better. Like I could have anybody be a ring announcer, but I know Ron does his thing. And Ron also has a following with his podcast and everything. So all it does is bring that to our company. Say, oh man, not only is this guy ring announce for them, but he runs a consistent wrestling podcast. He's on multiple shows. So you have to look at that you're bringing people with like minds together and hope that they can create something magical. And I think Paul Heyman always said the best. It was the land of misfit toys. And I kind of always feel like that with some of us is a lot of guys that don't work in other places or don't get along with some people, but when it all comes together in our little bubble, it works perfectly fine.
Right.
It's
an old adage or old saying. It's like you could be the sweetest peach on a tree, but some people just don't like peaches.
That's a good way to put it.
Or in my case, it'd be a mango
like
or avocado, but I'm a sexy avocado at that.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, with your price tag still on your hat.
Hey, it's fresh.
That means it also hasn't been washed since it left the store. It's carrying Corona. Leave it there.
Wow. No, I just had a Corona. I just finished it before I got into my sweet tea.
Or whatever they call the new one in time for the next election.
I was going to say,
whatever that is.
Winter COVID or something?
I don't know. Brian Scott chimed in and he said, Little Panda is my favorite.
And so Quest did something different in the last Waxhaw show and then the last Armory show. We ran a poll, and we had a lot of fans write down like who they were there to see. And shocking, within the last few shows, Panda has been getting the most votes at all of our shows, and to debut this year is insane. How fast that character has risen, and it just goes to show you how the fans truly don't necessarily care ultimately of what you do in the ring, but how you react and how you bring the fans into it is almost just as important, if not more important.
This is true.
And I think that's where you got to realize nowadays, like, less is more. And you see that with some of these wrestlers where they can get over by going out there and just entertaining the crowd, still having a good match, but not, 3,000 flips and back bumps and this and that, and just you get lost. I think that's when people were starting to realize that a lot of wrestling shows aren't all wrestling fans. A lot of it are just people looking for a good time, or they find out about it from a friend, so they go check it out. Because breweries and these new places that are bringing wrestling in, it's giving just your average individual a chance to see what wrestling is. And I think a lot of people that come to our shows aren't necessarily wrestling fans.
Man, look, the match that was your main event at the last pay-per-view, Hammerstone and Fodder.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly what you just said about less is more. That match was fantastic because I'm sitting there and I've seen hundreds of matches at this point in person. It is what it is. I got sucked back into that fan mode of being able to really enjoy the match. And I get to enjoy bits and pieces of everything I see. Everywhere I go, I find something that I enjoy. Another match that stands out in that night was Emily J. That triple threat was fantastic. She is a star.
Definitely.
The fact that she doesn't have a TV contract today kind of eludes me. Her or Danny. or dude,
Danny's great.
Lexi is a fantastic wrestler. I want to see her against some people that could kind of match her strength.
I think you just hit the nail on the head of the next match to even go over for Winter Bash.
And there you go. There's another little hint he's dropping there, Ron. I'm liking that.
Danny Moe and Lexi Steele.
There it is.
Honestly, I think also up there with feud of the year, where
this
Lexi beat Danny Moe last year, and Danny Moe has been on the chase to get her hands on Lexi in that belt all year long, and Lexi has been able to cheat her way through triple threat matches, and she was a special guest referee for one of Danny Moe's matches.
It's not cheating. It's tacticulating. That's what it is.
Yeah. I guess the referees and all of them, they don't necessarily see it. But yeah, you're right. That's probably the better way to put it. But this, I think it will be the end of end alls, because this is a hardcore style match, Secret Santa hardcore match, which means that all of the weapons are gift wrapped and will be under a tree, so that they will have to grab a gift, open it up, and whatever is in that gift is the weapon that they get to use. So it's going to be a fun match, and I think the end all of end all for these two. And honestly, I'm kind of nervous for Lexi Steele, as Danny Moe is definitely amped up for this one.
That is fantastic. This is going to be a great match. This is going to be a fun match.
Yeah, that is going to be a good time.
Predictions on this one, gentlemen, because we just talked about it. I mean,
all right. Secret Santa. Presents under the tree. It's Danny Moe for me. I got to say that here's the thing. As much as Money Enterprises likes to interfere, if Danny Moe pulls out a baseball bat from underneath that Christmas tree, she's going to ting, ching, ching across all of them with that bat. I really see that going that way, because that's the only equalizer she will have, is that. And it's a hardcore match. Outside interference doesn't cause a DQ.
That's true.
This is true.
So there might be more people pissed off at Money Enterprises, and it could be their season's beatings coming their way.
Are you saying that you might get involved, Ron? Because that sounds like you might get involved.
No.
I'm just saying.
I haven't. Listen, hold on. Let me check.
Even Mandy was like,
hold on. I gotta check this real quick.
Your naughty list?
No, I actually have to check my email.
Oh.
I'm not booked, so I will definitely not be there distracting nobody or doing nothing.
Okay. All right.
I do not have clearance yet, so no, I can't do anything.
Okay.
I'm literally waiting on an email to but until I get that email, no, I am not doing anything.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Negative. That's not happening. With that one, like I say, I predict Danny Moe. And on the Luke Fury match, I got to go with Champion's Advantage. I got to go with Luke.
Oh, finally. It's the first time I'm actually going to agree with him. Well, not the first time. It's a small amount of times. I might have to say Danny Moe on this one.
Either way, it's going to be a good match.
It's going to be a good one, definitely.
You know who wins? The fans.
The fans, right.
Well, so far, the fans are winning on this show.
Oh, God, that's a big one.
This is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's chaos.
4-on-3.
Yep. So Quest decided to book Money Enterprises and Whiskey Business together, and with his big mouth, he just feels like they don't need a fourth partner. So Cam Jackson, Jordan Hall, who've been buddy with Quest all year long, will finally get what's coming to him. You guys keep pondering on this one. My little one's kind of moving around. I'll be right back.
No problem. Look, Ron, we talked to Quest before. He has shown a different side of him every time he steps into that ring. The Reaper is ready. And the fact that he's been doing this on-the-job therapy with Cam, I think they might have a chance.
Well, I mean, he's been doing...
Even disadvantages aside, they're under the tutelage of Quest. And that's going to be a fun, amazing matchup.
Man, listen. Here's the thing. you're talking about the XWW Tag Team Champions,
Mhm.
and you're talking about part of a faction, Money
Mm-hmm.
Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
Can they get along? Number one. Number two, none of those
Oh,
guys like to lose because
that's
champions
something we call
and
variable.
money, that's
Mhm.
winner's purse, you know.
Mhm.
So that's, to me, 4-on-3.
And
Unless
that's
unless
one of
they
the
got
things
somebody hidden.
that's one thing I got into the variables. All right, so you have Whiskey Business, who are a force to be reckoned with. You've seen them. They're the brawlers. They have it there for a good time. They're here there to kick ass and get out. And then you have Money Enterprises coming in together. It's like water and oil. All right, they're gonna shake things up clearly in the ring. I think that's going to be the variable here. They're not going to mesh as well as a cohesive unit against the other three. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Whiskey Business. I like the shenanigans. I love it. But I don't know. With that friction on the other side, I think Quest and the gang have the slight advantage here, though they have one less man.
I can't give them an advantage when they're a man down. You've got the tag champs and Money Enterprises on one side versus Jordan, Quest, and Cam. I'm not saying that it's not able to happen, but I wouldn't, I'm not going to put it past him to have a fourth pop in on this.
It's
It might be a surprise.
Because, the beef
This
that
is
we
Quest
have
we're
with
talking
Quest,
about.
the beef the Whiskey Business has with Quest, the
Mhm.
beef the Whiskey Business has with Jordan and Cam, this match could escalate into so many different directions that, who knows if this is going to even really be much of a match. It's probably just going to be a damn brawl.
If Quest wasn't involved, I could have seen this being a tag team triple threat for the titles. That would be quite a change of the guard.
Right. And Whiskey Business just got those belts, so.
Yep.
And they aren't looking to lose them anytime soon.
That's another thing. They get quite serious once gold and prestige is on the line.
They get quite serious the moment they open the flask. What are you talking about?
Well, this is true. Good point.
And people love them and hate them, so.
Yep. You can love them, you can hate them, but you ain't going to deny them. That's not happening. Freight Train Jay chimed in. He said this match is going to be fun. He said, let's go Reaper as well.
I think that's another big match for the sense of how the year's been between management and Money Enterprises, Whiskey Business and management, Quest involved, Cam Jackson and Jordan Holt involved with us. So this is a big match that I think is going to end almost the shut your mouth kind of vibe of who's got the bigger fist. I think honestly that's why I said this one's just going to be an all out fight because there's a lot of bent up frustration between all of these men.
True. Very true.
Hey, JP got thrown out of the number one contender battle royal at Total Carnage by Cam. Yep. So JP's got beef with Cam. I mean, it's just, if you look at all of the directions that these men have been involved in different matches throughout the year, this is definitely the end of end all for that. So
it's so much beef that it's become an Arby's situation.
And that's why I don't even know if it'll affect Quest, Cam, and Jordan not having a fourth partner because it is that high level of a match. But like Ron said, it's a numbers game, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the end with that for sure.
But you gotta admit that Quest is pretty crafty. Not that I'm trying to make more puns or alliteration, but I mean it's true. He's a very crafty guy. He always has something up his sleeve. I'm going to agree with you, Ron. There's a chance there might be another added component to this team.
They're gonna, in my opinion, they're gonna have to. They're outmanned. All right, if you put Whiskey Business, you gonna need them three just to outmuscle them. That's my opinion. So add to that the crafty quickness of Christopher Prince and the ring IQ of JP Lehman to that equation. This has got all the makings of a total clusterfuck. Really does.
All I know is
I agree.
Quest can try to call me to be the fourth partner, but he can kiss my ass. I ain't answering that phone call.
No, it would be
He
funny
can
to
call
see.
David.
There you
He
go.
can call David. He ain't calling me. That
Have
ain't
your
happening.
people call my people. We'll see.
Yeah, no.
We'll see.
Everybody's got a price.
Exactly.
No, I don't. I promise you I don't. Let's see
What else we got,
here.
gentlemen?
XWW fitting to be lit. The building up is going to be crazy. Yes,
This
it is.
true.
Max Carnage chimed in. Hey, what's up, Max?
Yo.
I tried to hit up Max for a booking in his inbox, but he didn't hit me back. So, shots fired. Shots fired.
Oh, well, I guarantee you he just heard it there. So
Yeah, he sure did.
I've got to see him once. I've only got to see him wrestle once.
Mhm.
And I was like, why don't I see him more? I didn't get it then. Like, why don't I see this guy more?
Yeah, he's got a
It
good
didn't
look.
make sense.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite things at WrestleCade was I was like a lot of the bigger guys that we've been trying to contact and stuff. I literally went face to face and was like, "Hey, here's my message that you didn't respond to. Do you remember seeing this?" It was like my one time in life to call people out.
Oh, man. Dude, Wrestle Cave was fun, though.
It was definitely a good network vibe this year for sure. We had a great time and we ran out of merch like we do every year.
I mean, we were trying to get you to come over our way, but like you said, you were just busy, just hustling.
Yeah, we had a very large amount of wine at our, so I think a lot of us were.
I partaked of it. It was really good. It was really good.
We were definitely a little bit more of a party sense, and having Effie at our table definitely did not help. He was, we were having a good time for sure.
Effie is just infectious. People can say what they want to about the guy. I don't care. I like Effie.
Yeah,
it's the vibe.
He's
It's
nice
the
as
energy.
hell.
It's the party vibe that he just.
And he's one of the few that will actually like drive to shows. Like he has to really like you, and he's like so gung ho to come back into XWW more often that we've had that conversation at WrestleCade. So I think you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of Effie next year, which I'm excited about because another guy that has great exposure all over the indies, and what he does in GCW is so big that the more we can get guys like that in the circle within us, it's just going to help get the brand out there even more.
Oh, dude. Effie he's got this energy about him. When he got into the ring, the first time I ever met him or introduced him, when he gets into the ring, he walks right up behind me and he just says it right to me real quiet. He goes, "I fucking love this shit." And I'm like, what? It was just like a shot of adrenaline into me. And I'm like, holy crap, that's real.
Right. And it's people like that make you fall in love with it all again, and I think that's what it's like. When it's not fun anymore, you need to stop doing it.
True.
Yeah,
and that's like probably one of the best words to describe him is just fun.
Very fun.
Like for real. Like, yeah. Every time. It's a good time every time he's in the ring.
We tried to get him on this show, but he was already booked. That was actually going to be our original main event. It was actually going to be fodder against Effie. That never happened yet. Great. So you'll probably see that next year at some point.
We'll just write that down.
If we get to that point. But, this main event we have is pretty crazy. I think they might break the ring. I'm a little nervous about that one.
Mm.
This is a main event that you would normally only see on a pay-per-view from the big companies.
It's crazy. It's definitely one of the most blockbuster main events we've booked in XWW all year long. The caliber of guys that are in the match are insane, and
that's my drum roll.
It's a huge test for fodder, and because to have both those guys in the ring at the same time. The man, he's going to have to pull something out for sure. I know he has Angelina Love, who's helped him in the past, but this is a big test for him. And I know, he hasn't really gone full out with Fulton. After Fulton got hurt, he had to give his belt up. So if Fulton goes into this match with that fire under him, knowing that he has a chance to win his XWW title back, and Moose, who's been with XWW twice before, comes in hot from TNA. And been one of the big main eventers in TNA. So this is a big match for him. And I know he's had a past with Fulton when they were in Impact and as well as with Angelina Love. So there's a lot of history there. And I think that this is like almost like a big match for each of them individually, wanting to work the other.
Yeah, I was about to say you should put it up. I don't know why you weren't putting it up there, Ron.
Because the conversation was so good, I didn't want to stop it.
Yeah, no.
Unlike you injecting asshat.
Like, I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see who's going to escape with this one, because like I said, he's hungry and he's back in action, full swing. And he's been a main eventer in XWW for the last few years now. So Fodder's got his hands full, man. But I do think this has potential easily to be match of the night. And I'm very scared that these three big guys are just going to end up breaking the damn ring.
Yeah.
I'm staying further away from this than
if you want to
than normal.
This is pretty much just as much hype as that new Godzilla movie that's coming out. You have
Right.
Godzilla, you have Kong, you have Caesar, and you have three big monsters eventually coming together. This is pretty much the culmination of that. It's the same thing. Like, you have three huge, I like to say, big beefy boys being brutal. That's what you have pretty much.
I think that's the biggest thing with XWW is our heavyweight title are the heavyweights, and we've always tried to have that aspect within the heavyweight title. That you see a lot of the bigger guys that they have the full look of being a wrestler. Alexander Hammerstone was a great example of that at the last show. The guy's a monster, and having the same kind of caliber guys with Fulton and Moose in this matchup. I mean, this is a huge heavyweight match, and this is a fantasy match, I think, for even a lot of wrestling fans. They're in for a treat with this one, and I definitely can easily see this.
And the thing is, it could go either way. You can't. There's no real way to kind of who has advantage over other. It's whoever hits the hardest. All three of these guys hit hard.
Absolutely.
And even with their physique, how big they are, they can move. That's the scary thing. These guys have such athletic ability and talent. It's ridiculous.
And Fodder's all over right now. He's doing his thing with NWA and a lot of big indies right now. So I mean, he's really made a name for himself. And to capture the heavyweight title, he's been able to bring a lot of that big caliber style matches into XWW. From the places he's been and the recognition he's built up. It's brought a lot of people into the company that want to face him for that belt. And I think within that is where we're able to see a lot of these big fantasy matches that you're not able to see in a lot of other places. That, Moose doesn't come to the Carolinas often. So, you get to see him in XWW, and Hammerstone's another good example of that. And I think having a big caliber guy like Fodder has helped not only the main event of XWW, but the company overall. So this is a huge match for him, huge match for XWW. And what a way to end the year going with Winter Bash as this our main event, man. It's just super crazy.
It's pretty much a turf war, because at the end of this, you're gonna figure out who is it gonna be. It's fantastic. The way you set it up, the way you have this is big fight feel, big main event feel, fantastic setup for this. And what a way to end such an amazing card with that. It's, sir, my hat's off to you.
And that one totally was booked for the fans in a lot of ways too. If you look at it as a booking standpoint, it's a very high caliber match. It's a big money match, so there's a lot on the line, for the company and for us. Having those big caliber matches are just another reason of why it's such a big thing to sign up for our Roku network, extremetvonline.com, because you get to see big caliber guys like this within XWW, and then, follow it along with your great podcast and other great, content. So I think that's the biggest thing for us is, not only to have a great big main event, but to have matches that you wouldn't get to normally see in other places. And
exactly,
this is a great vibe for that. And no better show to have it than at Winter Bash, the last show of the year for us.
So all you fans watching at home, what the freak are you doing? Like, sign up now. If you can't be there physically, all good, cool. Sign up now, and when it drops, we will let you know, and you can watch it.
First 5 days are free when you sign up, and if you use promo code XMAS, XMAS, you get half off your monthly subscription fee. So there's no better time right now than take that Christmas gift from XWW and then enjoy our network at half the cost and enjoy some great indie stuff and just follow along this journey with us and enjoy innovation required and violence expected, baby.
That's right. I'm actually sitting here looking at the website currently, uh, the extremetvonline.com site. And I mean, easy to navigate. Everything's got, it's got a great layout. You can,
Yeah, we try to
it's
mimic a lot of
simple.
Netflix in that ways where it just kind of has its own categories. You can slide and click and watch, and it'll actually remember what you watched last, so you can pick up from where you left off. There are a lot of time went into building that network back in the COVID 2020 year, and we try to really focus on online content, and that's been a blessing for us. And the sky's the limit of what you're going to see next year within that, and a big thing, look at is our social media presence is so crazy. I mean, I was just looking at our numbers to try to figure out, for our X Awards on the 18th, and we did over 300,000 views on YouTube in the last year, just within some of the stuff that we put on. And we barely put stuff on YouTube. Our main stuff is on Roku. So it just shows you, how much traction we get in other places online. That I really don't even feel like a lot of promotions touch that. I mean, we have 6,000 YouTube subscribers. It's a big jump that we put out each year from the growth that you see, not only with the content, but the numbers are following it. 30,000 Facebook followers. So, that it's definitely getting a great online presence for us. And we're starting to see it now translate into customers at our shows. So that's been a blessing for us. We've had a great traction of year of shows. And, I think this is the culmination of all of that for everybody. So, that energy is really going to be there this Sunday from the locker room into the crowd, and I think the fans are just as excited as we are.
Yep, you're at 30,000 likes and 31,000 followers on the Facebook.
I mean, I tell you, we spend thousands of dollars every month to promote all of our different avenues on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, Twitter, even. We try to really focus on getting the brand out there, and I think that's why we've really pushed more on marketing this year than we ever have. And I think, you see it. And I think a lot of other people have told us they've seen it that, man, I just can't get XWW off my damn timeline because we just run so many sponsored ads. And it's been a blessing. And I think hopefully we'll see it this Sunday with the turnout that we're hoping for. Cause I know the caliber of matches that we have lined up are bar none, definitely our best show for sure for the entire year, I think.
Yep. And you've also got, you've got that, and then you've got the ExtremeWorldWrestling.com website as well. Dude.
Yeah, that's the official website. You can get your tickets, some basic information on their roster, stuff like that. Definitely needs to be updated a little bit more, but I think our main traction is Facebook. We get most of our love on Facebook for sure. And then, what's translated to Roku has been crazy for us, just how consistent the subscribers have been, which has been a blessing. Yeah, man, super excited. I definitely am excited to see how Sunday turns out and, just leading into what we have lined up for next year within XWW and Cosplay Wrestling Universe. Super excited about what we have lined up with them as well. Just a lot of fun, man, and just taking it up another notch, adding some more cameras to the repertoire, more studio tapings. I mean, it's just the level that we're trying to push it next year. If we can even go any higher to think about is definitely that. So,
well, you definitely
jump on board, man. We try, man.
There's a ton of content out there, and like we made the point of saying we've done podcasts at 4 hours plus. That shit's not fun. But we've also done 3 and 4 and 5 in a week or more if we're at a convention or something on a weekend. It's freaking nuts because you've got so much that has to get done with that.
Have you thought about how many episodes you think you guys have done this year?
I would have to sit back and actually thumb through.
It's at least once a week, and that's just the Wrestling Wire. But then, yeah.
Am I counting from last year's Winter Bash, or am I counting from just 2023?
I guess I would say probably all 2023. I mean,
okay.
if you're doing what at least 2 a week, right? Aren't you?
At least one a week. Yeah. I 2 and 3 a week got insane. Let's see here.
That's a lot of maths.
Yeah. I have no idea. I'd have to go way the hell back.
Probably over 100 episodes.
It's probably close to 100 if
Close. I
if
think
I
it's
did
a
the
little
math.
over. If you did the math,
Which is crazy. So, you got to think about that. Like, the amount of work that you put in over the entire year. I mean, that's more than most people could even think about doing one. So, that's a huge thing to really look at you guys of what you've done in the last year.
Right. It's been a great many of them. I am just now. I just scrolled far enough back to find 1 year ago on YouTube, so now I have to count from here. So it's ridiculous.
So a little bit more about this award. There's an award ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What that's going to be streamed as well as part. Or
Yeah,
is that going to be a separate
that's
thing?
taped. Yeah, that's taped, and usually that drops around Christmas Day, Christmas Eve is when we get that uploaded and dropped, and so yeah, that's an accumulation of the entire year of our categories that we do for the X Awards: Wrestler of the Year, Woman of the Year, Match of the Year, Extreme Moment of the Year, OMG Moment of the Year. We have a bunch of different categories. We have some recognition awards of certain people that need to be recognized. I know Referee of the Year is another big category. So it's a big Christmas party for XWW, but at the same time, it's an award show. We get each person that wins gets an award. It's almost like the Slammies, like WWE's in a sense. So
and that's also happening this weekend, right? Just to correct me if I'm wrong.
That's Monday. So every year it's
right.
Winter Bash, and then the following night of whatever Winter Bash falls on is the X Awards. So this is our, I want to say, 4th or 5th year doing the X Awards. So pretty exciting for us, and every year it always gets bigger and bigger. So we're pretty excited to see this one. And I think for that, after how hard everyone works at Winter Bash, it ends up becoming like just a big party for all of us to kind of enjoy what we've done over the last year.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Dude,
it's the way we give back as well. Like we give away prizes and stuff like that. So it's also a way as a company to show love to the guys and women that are a part of XWW.
Now, is there a promo call? Jesus. He said the Slammies. Can we call it the Mannies? No.
They're called the X Awards.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's the X Awards.
The X Awards.
Oh, man. Is there a promo code or anything that you're using running right now for XWW's either streaming service or the tickets?
So streaming service is Xmas. You can log on, and when you check out, just use that, and it'll give you 50% off. And I believe with tickets, you can still use Black Friday. We're still using that one from the holidays. So if they want, you can go on there and use Black Friday, and I believe it's half off your tickets as well. So instead of $10, it's $5, which is an insane steal for how big the show is. So
is that all lowercase, uppercase, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
And I believe Black Friday will work on the network as well, but we just pushed out like our Christmas gift to the fans is giving people half off on the network, and we usually do that every year just as a big push to get some more subscribers going in the next year. But I think next year you'll see a lot more content. We're already working out like kind of like a weekly schedule of certain things that'll drop on each day, just to try to get more in tune with more regular viewers, that want to keep up with stuff on certain days and certain times. So there's a lot coming next year that I'm super excited about. One big thing is the Extreme Challenge, which they just filmed a few months ago, which was XWW's Tough Enough.
Right.
Had 5 guys all stay at our studio, our training center, for a whole week. They trained, they did different contests, different things. They took them out one night, and this was all filmed down to the T. And one winner was picked by the people that were, doing all the voting and everything. So super excited for that. That'll come out next year, I believe February, March. Is when tentatively they're talking about dropping that. But that's a huge first time for us doing a big show like that. And I think that's the first time I've ever seen something like that really on the indies.
That's pretty cool.
As big it was produced. It's a very cool show. Thought of by Cam Jackson. He's the executive producer on it, as well as one of the head trainers for XWW. So I think it's gonna be cool, man. And it's another way for you to get an insight into some guys that are just getting into the business. And it's one of those things where you might watch this 3-4 years down the road and be like, "Dang, that guy's on TV now," or somewhere
right.
different. So that's it's a big thing for us to show off those kind of people.
Right.
I have to
Now,
say, like you mentioned Cam, like the guy has such a brain for this business. That guy is he's always running. He's always like hustling something, and it's content, talent. That the guy he knows what he's doing, and the fact that he's working with you guys just shows a lot.
It's crazy how much he's done for us in the last year, and to become such a big part of the company, and it shows now where he has the capacity to produce content and shows on the regular for XWW and has free reign to do so. And not many people can get that in the short amount of time that he has, and he's proven it. And his mind goes beyond what he does in the ring, and I think that's what we try to really push a lot of the people we work with is we want you more than what your ability is just in the ring alone. It goes more than just that. And I think that's where XWW tries to really expand on people's talents and vision is within podcasts and music and art and things that we try to do beyond the ring for sure.
Right.
That's awesome.
Not only that, but we're in this weird era of wrestling, and it's an era, but it also may be an error. That's my opinion. That it may be a problem where a lot of the fans are wanting to be even deeper into the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
And while it's cool, it also could be considered detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why, we do a lot of different stuff on the show. And I think the one thing on the Wrestling Wire that's kind of had people's attention has been they really don't know what's real and what's not when I'm talking. And I think that's exactly where I want them to sit. I don't want them to know, wait, was that banging on the side of his house really somebody attacking? Was that really a gun he racked? Yeah, it was a gun I racked sitting right there. That happened. Are these wrestlers really pissed off? Is this really you get so many mixed emotions that these people can't keep up. That's exactly where I like them. I like them right there. I don't need it to go either way. I don't need to be a sportscaster. I didn't go to fucking broadcasting school. I don't need that. I don't need to be an actor. I'm not an actor. I didn't go to acting anywhere. So I like sitting in this one weird realm that I'm in.
It's a nice little bubble.
It is.
Yeah, it makes it more fun for you.
Right. And then you mentioned another thing about XWW and people growing and people wanting to do, some people want to do different stuff. I just kind of am happy every step I take. I'm happy that I'm there, but I'm not mad I'm not further. Like, does that make any sense? Like, I always want to be as good as I can be for everybody I work for. I always want to do the best job I can, but I'm not going to fucking go cry in the pillow if I don't get a contract from the E. It's not going to bust my nuts. It's not going to happen.
I think the more you don't focus on that, the more that those kind of opportunities arise. And I think that's where, the more you realize what your talent is because you're not focused on just something that's not necessarily there in front of your eyes. And I think the more consistency with that, that's where it gives you more time to shine. And I think you can see that with us and some people like Saeed Al-Sabah is a good example of that. Like the guy, anytime he's in the ring, it just shows how good he really is. And it's just crazy to me that he doesn't work anywhere else. Like he literally only works in XWW. And I've had a lot of people ask me for his contact to work in other places. And he's just like, nah, I'm good. So like, I don't know. It's like to be given such a crazy, ace in my deck. It's just wild to think about.
It's fantastic. And it shows his loyalty. And he shows that it shows what you offer him, that you have made him comfortable. You have You have showed that you believe in him and his product and his brand, that he's not willing to let that go. And I think that's a big thing. And I've noticed that a lot of talent, regardless of where they are, fail to their own hubris because of why am I not signed yet? Why am I not this? If I'm not, I'm going to quit. If I'm not this, why be that way? You should be constantly be evolving to be a better, more versatile talent above all, but not always for that final goal, because that will in the end destroy you. If you could find a place that, even if it's not the big toy box or the big box, the fact that you're adding and evolving not yourself but the business as a whole, and you're adding to it and you're making a legacy for other talent to see you and see the work that you do and bringing up the product that you're working with, I think that's kind of where the balance should be. Correct me if I'm wrong.
As much as I spend time, whether it be on the road, on the phone, at shows, whatever the case may be, and I'm having constant conversations with wrestlers, Saeed Al-Sabah is genuinely one of those talents where I don't know if he knows how good he is.
Yeah,
I really don't. I really don't know if he
he's humble.
You can tell him. You can tell him because I tell him. I'm like, dude, I've never seen anybody hit a suplex that way. That come up from the suplex is take my money, fuck this, it's over. Like, you can't. I've never seen it before.
I mean, to have a man mad that I don't even tell him when shows that we have that he's not booked on just so he can come. I mean, like, he's like that down that it's like scary to me. And like, like that's what made me realize, when I start seeing stuff like that, kind of how special what we have really is, because a lot of guys have that mentality where, man, like, it's just, I know what I like. I know that I get the vibe that I like, and I don't want to mess that up. And this is like the one piece of wrestling that I do like. So you kind of stick to that and just ride that train all the way out. And that's kind of how he is. Like, he's like, oh, I've been there. I've done that. I didn't have, I had fun with it, but I want to get back to that. And that's kind of what you guys are. And you're bringing the fun back to me. And that's all we could ever ask for in anybody, because that's what I want with the little kid in you. You know what I mean? That's why I still do this. I grew up loving this business, and I've had my spells where I ran away and got burnt out and came back a year or two later. I've had that. Everybody has, but I think when you finally get to a place when everyone has the same mindset, it's like the sky is the limit.
Something
and
clicks, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I think it's starting to see for me, because it is so much more than just one individual to run our show on this level. You can be Vince McMahon and have all the millions of dollars you want. And of course, it makes it an aspect. In that aspect, it's easier because money can buy all the people around you to put something together. But when you're really shoestringing it and really grinding your gears and spinning what you can to make something of a high caliber, like, it really shows who's on train and who's on board and really willing to put the effort in to not only make themselves better but make the company better as well.
It's always a pleasure to be there. I'm very fortunate that I get to say that about a handful of promotions I work for. I don't have bad times when I go to work. If I have bad times when I go to work, then we have to have a conversation.
Right.
So when I get to go to these shows, the companies I get to work for, I'm always treated like gold. And I love it. And I try to treat everybody there with respect, and it shows. It shows that everybody's there because they want to be there. They're not there to collect that booking fee. They're not there to get paid. They're there because they want to be, and they want to put on a show for them fans. And that's the money shot.
That's what you realize is a different vibe for sure when you don't have a bunch of guys back there just waiting for the envelope.
I think that's the big difference. I think that's, if we could hit on anything tonight, it'd be you give gold, and thus you guys are receiving gold from the talent and the crew, which makes your product that higher of a caliber. You respect your talent, you understand your talent, you're willing to talk to your talent, and the fact that you are able to help talent grow and have those conversations, it shows.
it's been a lot of that this year for us for sure, figuring out who's down and who really wants to, jump on this crazy train of ours, because I don't want it to slow down. Like I've said before, I'd love to take this on a tour and really, push the product out there even more. So, for me to do that is to really find that tight knit group of guys and girls that want to do that and really want to put the work in, because in the end, it's only going to get more exposure for themselves. I mean, look at how simple a Netflix documentary put Ohio Valley back on the map when they were, almost disappearing within the last few years within the indie scene. And there was a point in time when you thought of Ohio Valley, you thought of WWE. So, like it was just as big as that. And, so it's just like that simple vibe of getting a right group of people together and pushing something out and letting the product do the work itself. And look at Ohio Valley now. Like they practically sell at every show they do now, because they found the right group of people to really make that product great. And Al Snow really pushed the best out of each of those people to get what he needed. And look, I think I just read something the other day. They just got a huge investor.
Yep, I was just getting ready to say the same thing. They just got a huge
which
investor.
we will talk about that on Thursday.
So you just got to use your powers around you, use the internet, and really realize what you have and focus on that. And Al Snow was great about that. He knew what he wanted with that product and continue to focus on that. And now sky's the limit for. I think Ohio Valley could end up very easily being one of the top indie feds again within the next few years, back to where they had that mindset at before.
I mean, do you consider OVW or MLW an indie fed though?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because they're not. I mean, I guess you could. They're not on national TV to me. I mean, they're in Kentucky.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So I think once you get national TV, national pay per view, then I would say like, yeah, you're big top five. But I think I've been to an MLW show that had just as many people as the shows we did.
Gotcha.
And Fulton, a few people I've talked to have been members of that roster where they were paying people $100 a show, not paying travel, having you there for 12 hours to shoot promos and doing crazy things. So like a lot of them might have the big appeal, but they ran just as grimy as an indie fed. So
Wow.
yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say that anything is better than anything. I guess if you look at, to me, it's just consistency. How much more do they run than everyone else and can still run? Because at the end of the day, we all know that, at our level, there's not a whole lot of money in this. So at that point, you have to figure out the ways of longevity. And for some people, that's just running once a month. And some people are running 6 times a year, so it's what you can do within your means for your company. For me, it's been, I would run every damn week if I could, if I found the right place, because I want to push my product out that much more. But I'm working with what I have. So, and I think that they do the same thing. It's just, it might appeal bigger, but it's really not. Longevity, MLW, great. They've been around since CM Punk and all that back then. So their numbers are always going to reflect that. Ohio Valley is the same thing. Shit, where John Cena and them came from.
Yep.
So they're still going to have that caliber, but I don't think they're ran too much different than what we are. They might have.
You're running within your means, and somehow you're making it stretch out and work back into the company to make that high caliber. I mean, if you ask me, you guys are, you're up there, especially with the quality stuff and the content. The constant, that's just one thing that a lot of other promotions that we see in the area don't have the consistent content. And I think that's what sets you out apart as well.
Right.
And the fact that you're using it at this budget level and still producing and making it look at a high production.
I think we're one of the top in the Carolinas for sure. I definitely think we do our thing. AML, Deadlock Pro. There's a few that really produce some great shows. Firestar Pro is another great one. There's a lot of great stuff out there, and I think we definitely keep up with a lot of that. AML is a different level when you're looking at the caliber of names that they bring in. But as far as consistency within content and numbers on social media, I think we're right up there with all of them. And I would definitely put our stuff. I'd put our stuff against. I'll put my YouTube channel numbers, Facebook numbers. I'll put that up against any promotion running within the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina. Shit, even when when EC3 was doing Control Your Narrative, we had a 3-hour phone conversation about marketing because he didn't believe me. And then I sent him all of my stuff and he looked at all of our numbers and everything. He was like, damn, this kid, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to really, market a brand. So he was asking me for all kinds of tips and stuff like that and how to get that brand bigger. And that was back when, they had Strowman and they were really doing their thing and making strides very quickly. So I think that's always been the advantage for us is I have a marketing background. So the first thing I'm going to do is market the brand more than, what you might see in the ring. So, I think that's always been the blessing for me is, okay, well, I know who I'm going to get is going to have great matches. Might not be the level of AEW pay-per-views or anything like that, but we're still where we need to be in the level of fan base and things that we have right now. All of that calibers of matches, things that can only get better and bigger the more fans that we bring in, because then you'll have more budget to expand on your talent base. You got to work within your means, and I think that's what we've always tried to do.
So, one correction to that, and there's only one correct. Don't lower your standards to say AEW pay-per-view because your storylines make more fucking sense. Let's start there.
I knew you were going to say something.
I think of viewership.
Okay, viewership. Yeah, that works.
When you're talking about like paid like bot paid per-views, attendance, merch sales, like that's when you're a successful company because it takes all of those elements to really make a brand on that level. So the more I can see, okay, hey, we sold 20 shirts last month, we sold 40 shirts this month. The more I see that continuing number grow, then I can kind of see, okay, well, the company is seeing that, the content is seeing that, the overall quality is seeing that, everybody's progressing. And that's kind of how you have to look at it. Like, okay, you sold 100 tickets to this show, and the next show we sold 200 tickets. Like, okay, well, obviously this area works well for us. So let's continue to run here and expand on this market more. And I think that's where we've been at our best this year. Even to take a market like Waxhaw that no one runs in, and our first show to have 200, 250 people there. I mean, it's
that was actually to be my question, one of my questions, because somebody actually brought up early days of the show, usually, and I've been told listening and kind of hearing and learning, even when it comes to conventions or any shows or promotions, what direction you're going within the first 3 shows. Now, that's my question. Early days of XWW, did you know from that 3rd show, the first 3 shows, that it was going to go in this direction?
No, because for me, and there's a big problem in the Carolinas is there's so many shows. So there was a lot of shows where I was booking guys just to make sure that I had them on my particular dates. So I didn't even necessarily know where I was within my product, but I knew, okay, if I could somehow center my mindset on these 12 guys, then I know from at least from some parts of these shows to the next, I could build something that these guys can have a continuation of for the fans, for the content and for the company itself. But we've had a lot of that change from guys that, necessarily I didn't see to be the best for our product. They might be the best in the scene, but they're not the best for us. And for me, it's how intense can you be for me? If I need a promo, are you going to be available? If I need you to show up to a studio taping for just gas money, are you willing to sacrifice for that? Are you willing to do everything? Because in the end, I'm going to give you the mass exposure you asked for. I'm going to do more than majority of these promoters will do for you, but I'm asking for the level of intensity that I don't think a whole lot of people are willing to give to one place. And I understand that because it's a business. So, you got to get your money, you got to eat. But I think people's mindset, they don't think about that. They just think, I just need to work as many places as I can to get myself out there. But not every place is a good place to work.
That is true. And that's one thing I learned. It's always quality over quantity. And I admit, me being early in the business, young buck, a couple of years ago, that I was doing everything I could to get on this, on that, and that. Now I'm starting to learn, and I've learned that the people who believe in you and support you and are willing to see what you can bring to the table and work with you are the type of companies you need to be with.
Right. And I agree with that as well. one thing that I will say that's a little bit different in my mindset is this. I did the running around a couple years ago. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not trying to go ham and run every freaking show from here to Georgia and Virginia and back. Nah, because it's not in the end worth it. You can play what Manny was talking about with the long-term exposure. You can play chess if you want, and you can go everywhere you want and say, king me, king me, king me, king me, king me.
All right.
Or you can play the long game of checkers, cash and checks until checkmate. That's been a freaking statement I have lived on. And I sent that to David a week or two ago. We have been having some internal conversations to deal with some external jackasses in business. And that was like, dude, fuck it. Fuck them. Don't worry. I don't even think about this. I look at this. I look at the long term. I'm not looking about today. I don't care if there's 7 other podcasts running right now.
Right.
Good for you.
Right.
Congrats. I hope you had a great show. I know I've had a great show because this conversation's been an hour and 40 minutes, and
it doesn't feel like it. It really
no,
doesn't.
It doesn't. I already know I had it. I had a great show tonight. It does not matter. I know I had a great show last night. I hope to God we have a good show tomorrow. Like, I already know.
And it's different because it's like you're not treating it like it's a business. It's like it's a business, but it's still fun for you. You know, you still enjoy it, and
Right.
you can tell by listening and watching that you actually enjoy it, and you're not just there to analyze and shit on everything. And I think that's the part of the business that's so much of that it almost turns you off. You know, there's just a lot of negativity within pro wrestling. So it's kind of like, you know, all right, well, can we just bring some piece of a good side of that and actually have a good time, not have drama backstage, not cry over these plastic belts, not take fake photos to say you have a packed house when you really don't. You know, just be real, be 100% with it, and those vibes carry. And I think it carries throughout the locker room, it carries through the crowd. You know, it's all of that. And that's I've had to learn the hard way. Trust me, I've had to go to the ATM for shows where I've lost thousands of dollars back in the day. You know, I've done that. I've been there. So I'm no amazing promoter and say I've learned it all. I mean, I've still had bad shows in the last year, but I know how to pick myself up and continue to grind on. I know how to make those the best of those shows to stretch out within content and the internet and promos and things that you need to make your product better, you know, because every show is even a learning curve for you. You know, you might try 2 guys that have never worked together before and that one show, and you learn something new on that show. So, I mean, I think that's what you have to realize, that everything's a learning curve, no matter where you are, whether you're the sound guy, you're the guy that presses the damn fog button, you know, every show you're learning something new and realizing how important you are to that. And I think that's what's the best part for us, is we all realize how important we all are for each other. You see it. When you come to our shows and you see the setup, you see breakdown, you see all of that, you see how this fine oiled machine is moving, and everybody just knows what they need to do, where they need to be. And then from the beginning to the show itself, to the breakdown, to everybody hanging out after, you really feel how important and exciting it is for everyone involved. And I think that's what makes it fun for me, is seeing all of that. It's like, oh, wow, man, like we're all really doing it. We made it happen. Everyone got to go home. No one got hurt. You know, those are the best things you can ask for, and doing this consistently.
I think it all comes down with the environment that you make. You're making a nurturing environment that allows for this talent to evolve and grow naturally, that they're able to give you the best product because you give them the best. This is what I want. This is what you can give me. If you're willing to do that, then I'm letting you grow, and it's shown.
So I will talk about the X Awards next Tuesday night on air.
Wait,
but it'll be very brief because we have our own award show that we're doing, and it is called the Super Indie Super Award Show Spectacular, and that is the official SISAS award.
Love it. Love it.
Bro, did you see the fucking? Oh, did you see what the list of awards was? It was 25. So
Jesus.
get this: we got 5 sponsors. We got 25 awards total for this show coming up. But we got 5 sponsors donated $500 each. So I'm mailing out 25 $100 checks.
Love it.
And 25 of those awards. And the awards, here are the categories: best catering in a locker room,
Nice.
best dressed promoter, best locker room mouth hug, best venue,
Sweet.
most valuable show support, best entrance, most developed, best gear, biggest online beef, meme of the year, best managerial interference of the year, color commentary line of the night. Why would that be of the night? That should be of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Promoter with the wildest excuse for a match stipulation. Most memorable catchphrase by a commentator. Promotion with most confusing name change. Ring announcer with the most dramatic introduction. Outstanding use of pyrotechnics in a promo package. Promotion with the most absurd merchandise. Commentator's most awkward silence moment.
Nice.
The Lifetime Achievement Award for being a jobber extraordinaire. The Legacy Award. The Promoter of the Year. The Promotion of the Year. The Best Female Superstar. And the Best Male Superstar. That is all 25 award categories right there.
Nice.
And these are being voted on by fans from around the world because that has been announced on, let's see, The Real Wrestling Community's got 120,000. TRWC Attitude's got like 170 or 180,000 followers or likes or whatever. Then you got my piddly ass pages, you know, however many fans and friends and shit I've got all across my social media. And then we've got the XWW on Roku Network. You know, this is the first time the people on the Roku network are hearing about it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let us know if you send us the stuff. We'll put it on the page also, and then I'll send you our categories and stuff that we have coming up for.
That was going to be my question. What categories do you guys have? And is that voted by committee or by the fans?
Yeah, that's by committee. So we usually our whole entire inner circle, which is about 12 people, all vote, and typically it's a lot of the people that are at every show and either behind the scenes or you know, are part of the show. We even have a fan that has pretty much been to every damn show. We had him vote as well to give a little bit more of a fan vibe.
Nice.
Let me pull up the categories real quick. We actually lessened the categories this year just to put more oomph on some of these so they have a little bit more meaning. But I will actually show you one of the awards too. We just got them in. All right, here we go. Here's the list. Our list this year is Wrestler of the Year, Best Backstage Worker, Tag Team of the Year, Best Referee, Extreme Moment of the Year, Commentator of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, Woman of the Year, Feud of the Year, Match of the Year, and OMG Moment of the Year.
Damn.
So here's my question. You have one more show before that. Could it be that one of those matches show up as on one of those categories?
No, so the cutoff is Thanksgiving. So Turkey Bash for us each year is the last show of the year that falls within the getting nominated for categories. So Winter Bash last year goes on this year's X Awards.
Okay. OMG moment is, let's see. OMG moment is going to be the soda dispenser. 100% the soda dispenser.
I'm gonna.
Well, I know. Yeah, I think that match that was actually one of the match of the year votes. So I don't know if that actually got on OMG.
Then it's definitely Vasad jumping off the thing at the fucking brewery.
So OMG moment categories this year were Quest returning to the ring, AJ Myers dives off the entrance, Manny Mac destroying the television at the entrance
with his face.
and Facade diving off the Looney Boy structure through Sephiroth.
That's mine. I picked
Your
that one.
extreme moments of the year are when Facade Falcon arrowed Christopher Prince on those chairs.
Oh my God, that looks so bad.
El Luchador slam Manny Mac on the barbed wire door. Facade Death Valley drives Sephiroth through the door, off the apron to the outside. And then the last one on that category was Rob Killjoy killing JP in that 5-way ladder match.
Oh my God, yes.
That actually was up there for match of the year as well.
Dude, there's still blood on the floor at the bar.
It's funny that like we always talk about the OMG moment or the extreme moment. Sephiroth is like one of the more hardcore guys in XWW, so it's funny that every year he's always like most of the category where he's the one getting the move done to him. So it's funny how we always like somehow end up in the year and Sephiroth is in these categories by just getting his ass kicked.
It's wonderful.
So yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun time, man. I'm super excited. You know, we've had a great year. We've had some great content. So it's going to be a great time to recognize all the hard work for sure. And the best part is all the giveaways. You know, we're giving away a TV, air fryer, Amazon Echo, gift cards. I mean, it's really an awesome time to show recognition and show love to everybody that's a member of the XWW family.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
I know I was invited last year, and I was just like, man, I appreciate the invite. I got to work. This year I took off.
Yeah, it sucks that it always falls on a weekday, but I know it makes it easier for us because, like, you know, that's the way we keep Fulton in town. We keep Danny Mo and Facade. They just stay in town an extra day after the show. So it kind of helps, you know, some of the out-of-towners that are a part of that last show of the year to still be a part of the X Awards and stuff. And it's funny because, you know, you get to see people, you know, on the other side of that fence. So you see people cut up a little bit, you know, so it's a little bit of a different side of the locker room than normal.
Yeah, that's too far of a drive for me to be cutting up anything. I'm going to be chilling. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah, no worries. There's plenty of that as well, you know. So there's always the wine drinkers and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a good time, but we always, you know, we're filming live. So everybody still has to be on their best behavior for sure.
You want me to be on my best behavior?
Yeah. Have you met this guy?
We're going to hit the comments and then we're going to send it home.
Yes, sir.
D'Angelo said Saeed extremely talented and great to learn from. That is right. Scott Larson from #Truth. He said, Manny the Mac Daddy, what is up, guys? What's happening, Scott?
I was on one of his podcasts before. A great guy, great interviewer, another awesome guy for the business as well.
Yep, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Scott. I really did. Got a good bit of advice from him. And got no problem putting him over and telling him to his face or telling him online or telling him on social media or telling him anywhere because that's called respect for the people that paved the way for your ass.
Right. And D'Angelo, I could have said it better about Saeed. I think if anybody can learn anything from Saeed Al-Sabah, if you can try to find any of his matches to watch online, the best word to put it is timing. The man's timing is impeccable in the ring. And I think that's what a lot of guys need to work on is less is more. And what to do and when to do it. And I don't think there's anybody better right now in the Carolinas than that man.
Yeah. You gotta learn how to let things simmer.
I got two matches I want to see with Saeed Al-Sabah. One, Bebop.
Okay. I know of him.
Yep. And after, well, we'll talk more about that Sunday after the show.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go down the rest of these comments before
the other one is actually Brino. I want to see Brino and Saeed.
Nice.
The technical prowess of Brino and the in-ring IQ of Saeed is gonna be fun. Like I want to see that.
I can see that being a good one too for sure.
Yeah. That's money.
Saeed is so smooth. Let's see here.
That's true.
D'Angelo said XWW is a healthy work environment that we all need, considered a second home for me after this year. Dude,
I will say that Booker Johnny Smalls has made sure that D'Angelo is locked into XWW's calendar. So if you're a fan of D'Angelo, you'll definitely see a lot more of him in XWW. And he was in the category for Breakout Star of the Year this year. So the man definitely made a lot of strides in a short amount of time. And good thing about him, too, is you don't see him in a whole lot of places. So we're able to really, push him out there as hard as we can.
Yeah, but he'll utilize him more. That's fantastic.
Super
See
talented guy.
him. He's a really talented kid coming out of Ethan Case's Palmetto Academy, wrestling down there for Palmetto.
Absolutely. Shout out Ethan Case and Palmetto. Love that crew. Love those guys. They put out a great product as well, and some great students. And
Yeah, they do.
Always been a fan of their little area.
Oh yeah, I got to make another trip down there. Coming up sometime soon. Dom chimed in. He said, "When Manny has faith and trust in you, you definitely know it." I've always said, my first few XWWs, I shit the whole dang bed.
Man, ain't nobody's worst critic on Dom than Dom is.
I agree.
I like working with him.
agree.
He's a great talent to work with. He's a great guy to bounce ideas and commentary with. Yeah, he's one of my favorite partners to work with.
I really did enjoy traveling the road with Dom, and I was very happy to when I how do I want to put this? I had to find a replacement commentator for a show. I was very happy to hand Dom that money. I really was. Get Dom get his up and comings for that one, because it was a long run that we had to make. We had to make a hell of a drive. Me and Dom did.
It's hard to find good commentators, and him and Jake in XWW have gelled so well in the last year that they've become such a great norm for us. And Dom has really busted his ass in the last few years of becoming a full-time wrestling commentator, and I think he's made strides within the last year. And I think he not only does it for ACCW, a couple other places, but he's really become the voice of our company in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. He does a really good job. He's also a stand-up guy, so there's also that. That helps. Ryan chimed in. He said, XWW leans on the talent they have, put as many of their guys on the poster. They don't have to draw in with legends to get people's attention. Wow.
This is true.
And I will say I've done that. I've been there. We've booked a lot of legends in the past, and they do help. A lot of people do love to see those people. But at the same time, I think if you focus on what you have and build around that, the people will come.
Right.
This is true. If you build it, they will come. Yes.
Yeah,
D'Angelo said, I look better than them legends anyway. That's right, little Caprice Coleman, you do.
I know that's right.
Little Caprice. Dude, that Waxhaw crowd is so fun. They are a blast.
Crazy crowd for sure. Super invested in the product, and it's cool to see when people have their favorites, because that just kind of means that what you did is starting to catch on. And that's the hardest part, because we're a bunch of guys with gear, so it's like, how do you differentiate yourself from the next?
Mm-hmm.
Right. One of the things I like about the bar crowd is it's predominantly adults, and with that being said, I get to do what I call the SpongeBob isms or whatever, where if you watch SpongeBob as an adult and you've got kids, there's a couple little punny jokes in there for you, the adult. You know what I'm saying? So I get in the ring, and one time I got in, and as I was coming, I was like, man, you guys really like it rough here, don't you? And the crowd erupted with that one, and I pointed at the one crew that stands over near the entrance ramp. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Over on if you're in the ring looking at commentary, they're on the back left, up against the stage. They are always the most rowdy freaking people right there. And they are, I pointed right at that. I'm like, especially you. And they freaking lit up and loved it. I'm like, that's the shit I like.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy those little nuances, I guess is the way to put it.
And those small town crowds definitely make you feel like that. Those are my favorite places to run. And it's crazy how fast Waxhaw has become one of our bigger spots to run in such a short amount of time.
Dude, I'm looking forward to 2024. I'll put it that way. I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's the last show for me for the year. I am happy about that. I'm happy to end it on that note. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, what better way than to ring announce big main event like that? To add
add to your reel, bro.
Yeah, man. Right. Nothing bigger than Moose, Fulton, and fodder right now in pro wrestling on the indies, and all of them. They're doing their own thing in their own different areas, and it's a super dope main event, super dope card, and it's big for us because, like I said, this is our biggest main event of the whole year. So even just for us, the caliber of it is crazy to think about. You know, I always thought about growing up watching these guys on TV and stuff like that. I never thought it'd be as simple as a text message and a phone call away, you know, to have a lot of these guys at our fingertips. You know, Heath Slater's another one that I've been talking to lately about coming in a lot next year. And, you know, it's
He's
just
a really
cool
guy.
to think about some of these guys that, you know, you grew up watching, and, you know, here you are trying to make them a main part of your company, and they're excited about it, you know? So it's cool to see that. And it's, you know, Moose hit me up for the last year. You know, we've had Moose twice in XWW. He has such a good time, good vibes, that he's been on me about coming back. And, you know, and sure enough, you know, with him and Quest and me, it was a very easy thing to happen. And, you know, that's where I think the difference with us is like, we don't chase a lot of these guys down. You know, a lot of these guys reach out to us, you know, and they're like, you know, hey, we heard from so-and-so. It's a cool place to work. You know, would love to come in. When I was backstage with Effie at GCW, you know, meeting some of the guys that you know, Mance Warner and, you know, Mike Bailey, all these guys, I'm like, you know, man, these are awesome guys. You know, they've heard of us. They know about us. And because Danny Moe, Facade, a lot of these people that we've created such good vibes with have gone to other places and talked about us, that it's create a good repertoire for the company, that it's been a very easy to have a conversation about having people come into XWW and not be like, oh, okay, well, where are you guys? Who are you guys? Like, majority of people already know who we are. So the hard work is starting to work. You know, the exposure is getting there. And this is a great way to end 2023 and end it on a big note like this.
I am definitely looking forward to this weekend, man. Manny, thank you so much for being on here, dude.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Really?
Always an honor to have you on here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, man. It's always a pleasure. Always super stoked to be a part of anything you guys got going on. And you guys do your thing for indie wrestling and pro wrestling as a whole. And like I said, thank you again for having me, man. We're going to have some fun this weekend and Monday as well. So, like I said, guys, thank you so much for the whole year. You've put in a lot of work. It definitely needs to be recognized. And just keep growing and keep doing your thing. And any way that myself and my company can help, you know, we'll be there tenfold for you.
I know, man. The one thing we've been on about lately is with the mutual respect is we're seeing more people sharing the content mutually. Like if we're sharing theirs, they're sharing ours. You know, we've been seeing that a lot more lately, so that's been awesome. It's helped our growth as well.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the game. You got to build together.
Yep.
You got to build up together.
You always got a place with us, man. At any show, anything that I always tell you to set up, do your thing, man. All we can do is try to help each other, and ultimately it'll all get us to the place we want to be.
Yep. I always set up at every show. My daughter just costs me money at every show.
I know that's right. That's right. Hey, she's a hard worker, though. I ain't gonna lie. She sold some shirts for us, so
yes,
put
sir.
her in, coach. Put her in, coach.
Oh, she's coming Sunday. She's coming Sunday, my brother. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's a good worker right there. It don't get no more loyal than that. Once you get the family involved, it's good vibes.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Let's just say there's a lot of conversations going with that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need a bus. I'm gonna need a bus.
That's right.
But
well,
all right, my man.
I know you got some surprises Sunday too, so we won't give away too much now. But we'll have to recircle that conversation about certain parts of South Carolina coming to our show on Sunday.
Yes. Well, there's that. Like I said, we'll talk about that after the show Sunday.
Sounds good to me.
All right, my friend. I'll see you Sunday. Take it easy.
Fellas. Signing out, XWW, XWWTIX.com. Don't forget promo code XMIS. You get half off your tickets, half off ExtremeTVOnline.com. You can also use Black Friday. It's still running. They got it scrolling below. You guys, Manny Mac signing out. December 17th, Winter Bash, ExtremeWorldWrestling.com. Innovation required, violence expected. We'll see you when we see you.
Take it easy.
Deuces. We're out.
Dude, I love having the guy on. Love having the guy on. I like having people on anyway, especially to promote shows. But when we're promoting a product like that, and you have people who want to be as involved and passionate about it, that's where the money's
It's magic. It's magic and money.
Yes.
But I thought we were going to close it out there. I even said the deuces. That could have been the end of the show.
Well, you were saying deuces to Manny in that case.
I was saying deuces to the fan because that was a great
way
to end the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's how you end the show. Okay, so you've already done your entrance or your exit? All right, cool. I got it then. I'll take it from here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all, I'm not going that far. Listen, I'll see you Sunday at XWW. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Wrestling Wire, where we're talking about all the big shows, the ones that are on national television, including the NWA, which is on its way. We're going to be talking about Power from Tuesday night. Oh, my God. Other than that, you know what you can do? Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button, and guess what else you can do? You can see me at the Indies.
Deuces.